Okay, this assignment's kind of the same as what you've been doing, but you're actually going to have to do some factoring at the beginning of these problems. So you see there are you have to solve an equation. That's your job. Find what the x variable would equal. And you got three ratios, so you can't use A, B, C, D. Okay, so what you need to do is space out your ratios with the plus sign and then the equal sign. And then you are going to have to come up with the lowest common denominator. Okay, now first off, I'm going to make my parentheses where they belong. So the 10 just drops. There's no plus, no minus with the 10. Now this there is a plus or minus, the plus, so don't drop it. Now this would get a parentheses because there is a minus, but since it's on top, I get to just drop that down. I don't have to factor the top, okay? Don't worry about that. It's the bottom where if you have a parentheses, you can't just write it down. You're going to have to factor it. But if it's on top, okay, I don't need to worry about factoring. Okay, then in the last ratio, we have -8 just drops down. And this, again, with the minus sign, we need to put it in parentheses. Okay, so we need to go on the bottom and factor those parentheses. So on your scratch paper, you got 2x plus 8. That's two terms. So GCF, and then we're going to see if we can make a difference of perfect squares. Okay, GCF, you don't have the negative, you don't have 8 doesn't have x, and 2 and 8, the GCF's 2. Okay, so I factor out a 2, and then I go divide by 2, and that's 1x plus 4. Now, without a minus, I can't do adopts, okay? So I have 2 times 1x plus 4. So rewrite that expression as 2 multiplied by 1x plus 4. Okay, now into the next denominator, we had another parentheses, so x to the second minus 16. Okay, it's like a 1x to the second. So again, it's two terms, so it's greatest common factor. And then seeing if we have a difference of perfect squares. Okay, so I don't have the negative in front. I don't have x on everything. 1 and 16 is 1, so I'm not going to do the GCF. But this is definitely a difference of perfect squares. We do have a minus. X is to the second, so I know that's x times x. 1 is a perfect square, 1, 1. And 16 to be 4, 4. Okay, so we need to rewrite that expression as 1x plus 4 times 1x minus 4. Okay, then 2x minus 8. It's two terms. So GCF and DOPS. Okay, so GCF, do we have a negative in front? No, we don't. Do you have x on everything? Nope. And then 2 and 8, the GCF's 2. So we need to factor out 2. That's 1x minus 4. Okay, so you have your minus, but if the x isn't to the second power, then we can't put xx, so that means it's not going to be adopts. Okay, so rewrite that expression. 2x minus 8 is 2 times 1x minus 4. Okay, now we go to work with the LCD. I'm done with the scratch paper then. Okay, so the LCD. First you have an outer 2. Then you have a parentheses of 1x plus 4. Another parentheses of 1x plus 4, I already have that. Or a parentheses of 1x minus 4. And then outer 2, which I already have. And then 1x minus 4. So I'm ready to go. So outer 2, this first ratio has 1. This doesn't have 1. And this has 1. So we need to raise the middle one so it has 1. So put a 2, 2. Okay, 1x plus 4, I got 1 on the first, 1 on the second, and 0 on the third. So I need to raise the third one so it has 1. So 1x minus 4, then times 1x minus 4. Okay, now 1x minus 4, I don't have any there. I have 1 here, and I have 1 here. Okay, so raise it up so they have 1. Now look at your bottoms. Are they all the same? Yep, they're exactly the same, so they can be crossed out on an equals. So I drop the equals, now I go to the math papa. Okay. So I've got 10 parentheses, quantity 1x minus 4, close it, plus 2 shift, or no, I don't need to shift 8, quantity negative 8 minus, remember negative and minus is the same button, okay? Then hit enter, so you get negative 4x minus 56. Okay, now the other one's easy, it's just going to be negative 8x plus 32. You can punch it in if you want. Now what do I have for x? I have regular x only. So that means I just pick an x to get rid of. I don't have to factor. So it's going to be 4x minus 56 equals 32. Then I add 56 to both sides. That's going to be 88. Then divide by 4, and x equals 22. And that's the only answer you have for the variable. Okay, next one. Everyone has 3 ratios, so blank plus blank equals blank in LCD. Okay, just drop your 5. You're going to need to parenthesize that. Drop your 2. You're going to have to parenthesize x minus 3. Drop your 5. You're going to need to parenthesize x minus 4. Okay, so we need to factor the bottoms. X second minus 7x plus 12. Okay, so it's 3 terms, so GCF and the T. The GCF here, no negative, you don't have x on everything. 1, 7, 12 is 1. So 1's your GCF, don't do it. Okay, so I take my A times C, positive 1 times positive 12 is positive 12. And that's a sum of 7, which is negative. 1 and 12, that's not it. 2 and 6, that adds to 8. 3 and 4, that adds to 7. 7's negative, so 4's negative, and a positive up there and a sum means the signs have to be matching. So A is 1, so I just need 2 parentheses. So x minus 3, x minus 4. No GCF. So I rewrite this as x minus 3 multiplied by x minus 4. Okay, x minus 3. Two terms, GCF dots. So GCF, negative in front, nope. X on everything, nope. 1 and 3 is 1, so don't do it. Now we do have a minus, but x isn't to the second, so the dot. So I can't do anything, okay? So that stays 1x minus 3. Okay, x minus 4. GCF and dots, because there's 2 terms. Okay, so GCF negative in front, nope. X on everything, nope. 1 and 4 is 1. And we have a minus, but the x isn't to the second, okay? I know I can do 1, 1, 2, 2, but without that x to the second, we can't do it. And that's prime then. I mean, I don't really do anything with it. Okay, so LCD, we have a parentheses of x minus 3. We have a parentheses of x minus 4. parentheses of 1x minus 3, that's the same as x minus 3. And then 1x minus 4 is the same as x minus 4. So x minus 3, I have 1 on the first ratio, 1 on the second, 0 on the third. So we need to bring this up 1. So times x minus 3 times x minus 3. X minus 4, I got 1, 0, 1. Okay, so I need to raise the 0 so it has 1. Okay, now drop your equals. So I got 5 plus 2 parentheses x minus 4. Okay, it's 2x minus 3 on this side. Then the other side is just going to be 5x minus 15, or plus negative 15. Doesn't matter. So we have x only. So pick an x to get rid of. Let's get rid of the 2 by subtracting it. So negative 3 equals 3x minus 15. Add the 15 to both sides. And 12 equals 3x. So I divide by 3, and 4 equals x, or x equals 4. Okay, next. Put the parentheses around pluses. Now that's on top, so I don't care about that. This is on bottom, so I'm going to have to factor this. This has no plus or minus, so don't parenthesize it. Just carry it down. That has a minus. You need to put parentheses around it. That doesn't have a plus or minus. Just carry it down. And this has a minus, and it's on bottom, so we need to look at the bottom 3. So in the first ratio, I got 1x to the second minus 8x plus 15. 3 terms. So GCF and T. Okay, GCF negative in front. Nope. X on everything. Nope. 1, 8, 15 is 1. Again, the bottom expressions with the minuses and pluses need to be at least checked for factoring. Okay, A times C. 1 times 15 is 15 positive. Sum of 8. 8's negative. 1 and 15, nope. 2's a decimal. 3 and 5, yep. 8 negative means 5's negative, and having a plus up there means the signs have to be the same. So negative, negative. A's 1. So it's x minus 3 times x minus 5 with no GCF to put down. So okay, so x minus 5. It's 2 terms, so it'd be GCF. And DOPS, I don't think you're going to be able to do either one, though, because the GCF's just 1. You don't have a negative, you don't have x on everything. 1 and 5 is 1. You have a minus, but x isn't to the second, so forget that. And then this is just what I write down. So parentheses 1x minus 5, and then x minus 3. Okay. GCF negative in front, no. X on everything, nope. 1 and 3, GCF's 1. You got a subtraction, but x is not to the second, so it's not a dots either. Okay, so we're just going to keep that as 1x minus 3. So LCD, we have a parentheses factor of x minus 3, a parentheses factor of x minus 5. Remember, 1x minus 5 is the same as x minus 5, and 1x minus 3 is the same as x minus 3. So x minus 3, I got 1, 0, 1. So that 0 needs to be raised up so that they have, everything has at least 1. X minus 5, I got 1, 1, 0. So this 0 has to be raised up. So times. Remember, you can't take 1 away. You have to add 1. And then the bottoms can now be canceled. So on the left, I have the quantity 7x plus 3. Close it. Plus 3x times the quantity x minus 3. I end up with 3x to the second minus 2x plus 3. And over here, you're going to have negative 1x. And then plus 5, because a negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, now this one I'm going to have to work a little bit harder. I've got x second and regular x, so we need to move everything to one side so we can factor. So here's my x is second. That's the only one I have, so get this stuff over here. So plus 1x to negative 2x minus 5 from 3. So I have 3x to the second, negative 2 plus 1 is negative 1x, 3 minus 5 is negative 2. And now I have a trinomial. I need to use my GCFT to factor the trinomial. Okay, GCF negative in front, nope. X on everything, nope. 3, 1, and 2 is 1. Then I take A times C. 3 times negative 2 is negative 6. Difference of 1. 1 and 6, nope. 2 and 3, bingo. 1 is negative, so that means that 3 is negative, and having a negative means the signs have to be the opposite. Now, A is not a 1, A is a 3, so I'm going to need to have 2 shots of parentheses. So 3x plus 2 minus 3. 3 and 2, the GCF's 1, so that will just stay the same. 3 and 3 can be, or the GCF's 3. Then F1, F2, and set each factor equal to 0, and we have 2 solutions possible. Negative 2. You can leave it that, or you can write negative 0.6 repeating. Either of those answers works, and then add 1. 1x equals 1, so that means it's just equal to 1. Okay, the next problem. No parentheses, drop it. This does get a parentheses. No parentheses, drop it. This does get a parentheses. There'd be no parentheses, just drop it outside. And this one gets 1. Okay, so I've got x plus 1. GCF and DOPS. So GCF would be just 1, okay, no x, no negative. There's a plus, so I don't do anything with that. So that's going to stay like it is, either x plus 1 or 1x plus 1. Okay, 1x minus 1 on the next ratio, 2 terms, GCF and DOPS. GCF negative in front, nope. X on everything, nope. 1. Okay. DOPS, you have a minus, but the x isn't to the second, so this will just be a prime factor. Okay, now how about the last one? 1x to the second minus 1. Okay, 2 terms, so GCF DOPS. GCF negative in front, nope. X on everything, nope. 1 and 1's just 1. Okay. DOPS. You got x to the second, so x, and 1's a perfect square. 1, 1. 1's a perfect square, 1, 1. So I rewrite this as 1x plus 1 times 1x minus 1. Okay, now your LCD, you have a parentheses of 1x plus 1, a parentheses of 1x minus 1, 1x plus 1 I've already got, and I've already got 1x minus 1. So 1x plus 1, I got 1, 0, 1. So we need to get this up so it has 1. And 1x minus 1, 0, 1, and 1. So we got to raise that one up so it has 1. Okay, now that the bottoms are all identical, they can be eliminated. I know I'm just going to have a 2 here. Now right here, going to have 1 quantity 1x minus 1. Close the parentheses and add 1 quantity 1x plus 1. Okay, I end up with just 2x. Okay, we have x only. So this is the only x I have. We just need to divide by 2 and x equals 1. That's a pretty easy one. Okay, another one with the 3 ratios. You got a parentheses here and here, but this the top one I just dropped. Okay, I don't worry about factoring the ones on top. The bottom one I'm going to. 2x, no parentheses. You don't have a plus or minus, so you just drop it. Parenthesize that. It's on bottom, so I can't drop it just yet. Okay, parentheses, parentheses, but the one on top I just drop. Okay, now the bottoms I have to factor. So I can find the LCD. So x second plus 3x plus 2, that's 3 terms. I hope this is able to factor. GCFT. GCF negative in front, nope. X on everything, nope. 1, 3, and 2 is 1. And I multiply 1 by 2, that's 2 positive. So sum of 3, which is positive. 1 and 2, 1 plus 2 is 3. So 3 positive, you got 2 positive, and a positive means the signs have to be the same. Okay, A is a 1, so I just need 2 parentheses. X times X, and then plus 1 times plus 2. So I rewrite this as X plus 1 times X plus 2. Okay, and then on the second ratio, we got x plus 2. 2 terms. GCF DOPS. GCF would just be 1, and I don't have a plus sign, so that takes that out. So I keep that the same, parentheses x plus 2, you can put a 1 in front. And then 1x plus 1, the same thing's going to happen. GCF, negative in front, nope. X on everything, nope. 1 and 1's 1. DOPS, you have a plus sign, so we're just going to leave that alone. So parentheses 1x plus 1, don't change it. So LCD, I've got the parentheses of x plus 1. I got the parentheses of x plus 2. Another 1x plus 2, which is the same as x plus 2. And 1x plus 2 and x plus 1 are the same. Just because it has a 1 in front doesn't mean it's any different. X plus 1, I got 1, 0, 1. Raise that one up. Everyone should have 1. So times 1x plus 1 times 1x plus 1. X plus 2, I got 1, 1, 0. So everything needs the x plus 2. Okay, and now the bottoms can be canceled. Okay, so on the left we have the quantity x plus 1 plus 2 quantity 1x plus 1, or sorry, 2x quantity 1x plus 1. That's 2x second plus 3x plus 1. On the other side, I've got x minus 1 and then times x plus 2. Okay, so that's 1x to the second plus 1x minus 2. Now look through the whole equation. We have x to the second. We've also got x, so we need to get the whole equation equal to 0. Now we got x second on each side, so get rid of the smaller one. And then I proceed to get rid of the rest of that side. Subtract 1x from 3x plus 2 to positive 1. So that's 1x to the second plus 2x plus 3 equals 0. Okay, 3 terms, so GCF and T. GCF negative in front, nope. X on everything, nope. 1, 2, and 3 is 1. ABC. 1 times 3 is 3, positive. Sum of 2. Now we have a problem. 1 and 3 is the only two factors of 3 that exist, and those add up to 4. So that's a fail. So use your quadratic formula. So opposite of B, negative 2. Plus or minus d square root, b squared minus 4ac. So b is 2, and 4, a is 1, c is 3. And then we got 2 times 1, which is 2. Okay, so calculate the square root. So second x squared, double it. 2 to the second minus 4, 1, 3. Okay, a domain error. So what that means is I write negative 2 plus or minus over 2. Now what I need to do is make a square root off the side and just plug in the numbers without the square root. So parentheses 2 to the second minus 4, 1, 3. Got negative 8, so I need to write I down and put positive 8 in there. So now square root positive 8, and you get 2.83. Okay, and then this is my answer. That is 2 different answers because you got the plus and the minus. Just leave it like that and don't worry about filling in the 2 answers. Okay, so if you get the domain error, you write the square root down, plug in without, write I down, and then square root the positive. All right, last one. Also, get rid of this 1 right here. You should just have that empty if it's 1. Okay, so no parentheses, drop it. No plus, just drop it. Parentheses this and this. The one on top you can just drop down, but the one on bottom you need to leave. And then 9 has no plus or minus, we'll just drop it. And then the bottom of that one's empty. So really the only thing I have to try to factor is the x plus 2. But I don't think I get very far. GCF DOPS. GCF negative in front, nope. X on everything, nope. 1 and 2, GCF's 1. And then DOPS, you don't even have a minus, so this is going to stay the same. Okay, LCD. I have outer x because it's not in parentheses. It's called outer x, and then a parentheses factor of 1x plus 2. That has nothing. So outer x, I have 1. Remember, that's not an outer x. That's in a parentheses. So this has 0 outer x's, and this has 0. So everything has to be raised to 1. X, 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 x. Doesn't matter where you put it. Okay, now the parentheses. I have 0 here, 1 here, and 0 here. So I need to get everything to 1. So I times by 1x plus 2. And here times 1x plus 2 times 1x plus 2. Okay, now the bottoms are all identical. They can be canceled. Okay, so on the left side of the equation, I have 15 quantity 1x plus 2 plus x quantity 9x minus 7. Okay, and that's 9x to the second plus 8x plus 30. On the other side, you're going to get 9x to the second plus 18x. Okay, now I have x to the second and x. So at first I think equals 0, but the x to the seconds have the same coefficient, meaning they can cancel. And now I have an equation where I have x only, okay? So pick an x to get rid of. Let's pick the 8x. So minus 8x from 18x, and we have 30 equals 18x minus 8x is 10x. Divide by 10, and x equals 3. Okay, so it does help me out a little bit when the x to the seconds are the same coefficient. You can cancel them, and then it becomes just a regular x.